because you never know when the last one is, So,
You probably saw his name 1,000 times this season and never thought twice about it. Today, you're going to hear it one more time, and it's going to hurt. Kyle Busch is gone. Two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, 41 years old, husband, dad, the loudest, boldest, most stubborn driver of his generation. And on Thursday, the 21st of May, 2026, the racing world had to learn how to say goodbye to him. The day didn't start with anyone thinking the worst. It started with a short, scary message from his family. They said Kyle had been taken to the hospital with what they only called a severe illness. They didn't say what it was. They didn't say how bad. His team, Richard Childress Racing, quickly announced that Austin Hill would take over the number 8 Chevrolet for the Coca-Cola 600 weekend at Charlotte. That alone was enough to worry fans. Kyle Busch doesn't miss races. Kyle Busch races sick, hurt, angry, or all three at once. Then, just a few hours later, the news got so much worse. NASCAR, his family, and Richard Childress Racing all put out one joint statement. Kyle had died. No cause was given. The family asked everyone to please respect their privacy. NASCAR posted the news on social media themselves. They wrote, "We are saddened and heartbroken to share the news of the passing of Kyle Busch, a two-time Cup champion and one of our sport's greatest and fiercest drivers. They called him a future Hall of Famer. They called him a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. And maybe the line that hit fans the hardest, they said NASCAR had lost a giant of the sport today far too soon. The timing made it feel even more cruel. He was supposed to be in his car that very Sunday, racing the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. Instead, the garage was quiet. His pit box stood empty. The last time most fans heard from Kyle himself was 3 days earlier, May 18th. He posted a birthday message on X for his son Brexton, who had just turned 11. He wrote, "Happy birthday at Brexton Busch. Your mom and I are so proud of who you're turning out to be." That ended up being his final post, a dad bragging on his kid. That was the last thing he gave us. To understand what NASCAR just lost, you have to go back to a kid in Las Vegas. Kyle Thomas Busch grew up in a racing family. His dad, Tom, was a mechanic who loved the sport. His older brother, Kurt, was already a known name. Kyle started where so many Vegas racers start, in go-karts on parking lots and cul-de-sacs, then Legends cars at the Vegas Bull Ring, then late models. Then he just kept climbing. He made his first NASCAR Truck Series start at 16. He signed with team owner Jack Roush as a 16-year-old high school junior. He won Rookie of the Year in the Busch Series at 19. He won Cup Series Rookie of the Year the very next year. He kept breaking records for being the youngest to do this, the youngest to do that. His Cup career had 3 big chapters. First came Hendrick Motorsports, racing alongside Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, 4 wins in 3 full seasons. Then came the big one. Joe Gibbs, racing in 2008. He stayed there for 12 years, 52 Cup wins. Both of his championships, in 2015 and 2019. Regular season titles in 2018 and 2019. He was the face of Toyota in NASCAR. In 2009 alone, he won 9 races in the Busch Series and took the title, plus he won 7 out of 15 Truck Series races he entered. Nobody was doing what he was doing. He even won the 2018 Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, the very race he was supposed to run this weekend. Then in 2023, he moved to Richard Childress Racing. 3 wins his first year. His final career Cup win came that same season at Worldwide Technology Raceway near St. Louis. He hadn't won since. At the time of his death, he was 24th in the standings with 2 top 10s through 12 races in the final year of his contract. The numbers are something you have to sit with for a second. 63 Cup Series wins, 9th on the all-time list. Over 100 wins in the Xfinity Series. 69 wins in the Truck Series, which is a record that stands by itself. 234 total wins across NASCAR's 3 national series. Nobody in history has more. He won on 28 different tracks. He won in every Cup season he ran, all the way until the last little stretch. And then there's the name, Rowdy. He took it from Michael Rooker's character Rowdy Burns in the 1990 Tom Cruise movie Days of Thunder. It fit him perfectly. He drove hard. He talked back. He didn't care if you liked him. After he won races, he'd climb out of the car and bow to the crowd, soaking up boos and cheers like they were the same sound. The fans who stuck with him became their own group, Rowdy Nation. NASCAR even mentioned them in their statement, saying his sharp wit and competitive spirit sparked a deep emotional connection with race fans of every age. A documentary about him called Rowdy came out in 2022. But the man behind the nickname softened over the years, and he knew exactly why. Talking with Kenny Wallace, he gave the credit to his wife and his kids. He said, "When the kids came along, I think it kind of calmed down a lot more. I feel like that's probably the biggest sense." He married Samantha Sarchinella on the 31st of December 2010. They met in 2007 when Samantha, then a college junior working for a promo agency, was sent to her very first NASCAR race at Indianapolis. They have 2 kids, Brexton, 11, and little Lennox Key, just 4 years old. Kyle and Samantha also started the Bundle of Joy Foundation together, helping other couples pay for fertility treatments after their own hard road to becoming parents. He's also the younger brother of Hall of Famer Kurt Busch. There's one quote from earlier this 2026 season that hits different now. After winning at Dover, Kyle said, "You take whatever you can get, man. You never know when the last one is going to be, so cherish them all, trust me." Nobody knew at the time that he was telling on the future. The tributes came fast. Joe Gibbs Racing, the team he won everything with, posted a black and white photo of Kyle holding a cup trophy. They wrote, "Kyle was a fierce competitor, an incredible teammate, and, far more importantly, a devoted husband, father, and son. His impact on our organization and on the sport of NASCAR will never be forgotten." Dale Earnhardt Jr., who fought with Kyle for years before they made peace, wrote one of the most honest tributes. He said it was Kyle who reached out first to fix things between them. He ended his post with, "Rest easy, Rowdy. The sport won't be the same without you." Denny Hamlin called him part of NASCAR's Mount Rushmore of drivers. And remember, this is the guy who, back in 2015, broke his leg and his foot in a brutal Daytona crash, missed the start of the season, came back, and still won his first championship that same year. He always came back. That's what makes this one feel so wrong. NASCAR is also still reeling from last December, when former driver Greg Biffle, his wife, 2 children, and 3 others were killed in a plane crash in Statesville, North Carolina. Now this. Kyle leaves behind his wife Samantha, son Brexton, daughter Lennox, his brother Kurt, his parents, and a whole sport that doesn't quite know what it looks like without him in it. No more bow at the finish line. No more arguments in the media center. No more Rowdy.